budget, please come and see me after this meeting right away. But ideally, we should have both. Sometimes we don't have this luxury, right? So we're going to talk about Plan B. We'll talk a little bit about this advertising versus branding thing again. So way back in the day, back in the Mad Men day, heyday of advertising, the way we feel about this is traditional advertising's goal was to sell more products. You can interchange products with services. The way we look at branding, branding's goal is to get you to love the brand. Okay, why this? We think branding and brands and organizations are a lot like people, right? I've said this before. If you're always selling and I run into you at a cocktail party, I'll probably turn away and start going this way and start talking to someone else. If you're always selling, no one wants to talk to you at the cocktail party. So brands can be, I can be giving you free information. I can be sharing knowledge. I can be telling you a joke. I could be telling you a story. I could be listening. And then sometimes I might be selling. But if you're selling all the time, your audience gets sales fatigue. So you better have other things to talk about. So brands are like people. They have personalities. They make people feel a certain way. For example, how many people in this room are in this camp here? Please raise your hand. Okay. How many people here are in this camp there? Pepsi. Okay. And how many people don't care either way? Okay. So to some people, this matters, right? And if we blind taste test people, some people who are really good at this will probably tell the difference. But studies have shown the majority are unsure until they see the label. I could have had RC Cola up there too. And if I told you one was Coke and one was Pepsi, you might be fooled. So this, you know, some people like this guy, some people like that dude, some people like this guy. Who prefers this guy here? Okay, raise your, don't be shy. Who likes this? Anyone like this guy? Okay, so this came up earlier. Good example. How many are in this camp? Okay. How many are in this camp? Okay. Yeah. You know, it gets emotional sometimes when these people start talking about the differences between, like, oh man, I hate Apple, or I hate Android. Like, some of you might be old enough to remember this packaging, right? Ding dongs. But did you know about these guys? Ring dings? Sometimes, depending on which market you're in, you might see both of these on the shelves. Or what about, what is that? I know them as these guys, right? What's going on here? Who remembers Ho-Hos? Who remembers Swiss rolls? Okay, see? What the heck is going on here? Which one is which? Okay, so here's a theory I'm going to throw your way that we believe in. If brand A and brand B are similar or same, the consumer will choose the one to which they feel an emotional connection. Okay, I'll say it one more time. Brand A and brand B are identical. If I made a spreadsheet to compare Swiss rolls with Ho-Hos, both have chocolate rolled up into some sort of tubular format, coated in chocolate, filled with white creamy something that's not good for you. Check, 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 they're all good. Same price, check. Same amount of calories, check. How am I going to decide which one to get? So if all the rational things balance out between two brands, then we turn to the irrational. I'm going to make an irrational choice. I'm going to go with my gut or my heart. I love that brand. So if these two phones are identical in spec and in size and in weight and in performance and in cost, but I happen to love the brand a little bit more, I'm going to go there. So that's why we think this idea of branding to get an emotional hook is so powerful, because sometimes you can't win on the facts and figures. You can't win because you say, well, I'm doing good, so donate to my cause. Well, there's another cause that just said the same thing. Well, we're here for the people of Hawaii. Well, those guys are here for the people of Hawaii. Well, we're here for the future of our youth, but those guys are here for the future of youth. So why should I give my hard-earned money to donate to your cause versus that other cause? Somehow I have to emotionally resonate with that audience and win them over. So here's something we theorize. What's the big idea? Emotion is the currency of the challenger brand. Okay? Challenger brand, you could insert your name there. It's any brand that has competition, which is everyone. It might be someone starting up, trying to battle a larger one, or it might be a larger organization battling small startups that are nipping at their heels. A challenger brand is someone who wants to make change, someone who wants to do something different and isn't satisfied with where their brand is now. If you don't have actual United States currency, then maybe there's another form of currency that you have. And we believe it's emotion. Okay, so here's another way you could even look at this, slightly more harsher terms. Advertising is a tax you pay for having a crappy brand. What do I mean by that? I have clients, I do advertising for them. They're not crappy brands. Sure, okay. This is kind of making the joke, but there are certain brands that have to advertise. There's certain brands that don't. There's certain brands that when they advertise, they have to sell. And there's certain brands that advertise and they can brand. In general, though, there are a lot of great brands that don't have to advertise. How many people drink coffee at Starbucks? Do you go there because you see their ads? No. Let's talk about communication. Let's talk about your organizations. How many of you here have are part of an organization that is like 10 people or less? Okay. Okay. How many of you here organizations including the 10 people as 20 people or less? Okay. How many people in organizations bigger than 20 people? Okay. Oops. Sorry, create and just right. Sorry. What's going on here? Anyone shout out what you think this is? Speed skating. What else do you see? What? Olympics. What about this? Teamwork. Competitive. Anyone know, by the way, what the technical term is that this maneuver that they're doing right now? Drafting. What's drafting, for those who don't know? Can you speak up?
The lead breaks the wind and follows your cap, so you don't have any resistance.
The lead guy breaks the wind. Everyone kind of falls behind, so there's less resistance. Drafting. It's used in sport to kind of like even out the effort it takes. You see it in nature. It's not just in the Olympics, it's racing. One thing that we try to do when we go through these workshops and exercises is we try to get the organization to align. Try to think about alignment internally in the organization before we do external communication. What do I mean by that is when we are working on a major brand initiative for a client, we know we're not going to only talk to the marketing person. We find that oftentimes that might skew the direction to what that one person thinks, but we're not really thinking about what everyone in the organization thinks. That's why we do these kinds of workshops when clients can get everyone on the same page first. It actually makes everything else they do later on much easier. It's not easy to do this alignment thing, to get everyone from the C level all the way down to the street level to kind of be in the same mindset of, yes, this is where our organization is going. But this is important. Sometimes we can't help this part, but we ask our clients to figure this out before we say yes to working on a project like this. Okay, so here's another example of how some brands communicate. I'm just going to do this illustration here. What's going on in this? Anyone shout out anything you see here? Sorry, what? Anything? Anyone? Anyone? Jimi Hendrix? Anyone know anything more? Rock concert? Sorry? Lefty. Anything else? What if I told you that, yes, Jimi Hendrix, he's a lefty, playing in a concert. Anyone know what kind of guitar this is? It's a Fender Stratocaster. Fender, the company, was bought by CBS in 1965. They became a slightly different company, more corporate. Some of the designs changed. I can tell this is a post-CBS Fender because of the shape of the headstock. It's bigger. He's playing this upside down. He's a lefty. They didn't make left-handed Strats back then, so he restrung his guitar top down. It gave him different tones on the pickups, the single coil pickups. And the extra weight of the wood gave him some vibration that the earlier models didn't have, and the pickups weren't as good. And some people feel that that combination of his crazy playing, the technical pickups, in the post-CBS Fender headstock weight gave him this crazy tone. And okay, so what I've done just here now is I've lost some of you because